Oh, here's someone who's talking about what we wanted to talk about. Here we go. This is Aaron. Pronouns are he, him, from Wisconsin. NFTs, are they a pyramid scheme? How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. So what do you
Hi.
got for us?
Well, I thought your poll was a little worded a little weird. It seemed like there was only two options: either they're the future or they're a pyramid scheme.
Fair enough. What's your take on NFTs? Oop, we have lost. Okay, well, we're gonna try to get Aaron back really quick. But this is an interesting subject, and this is kind of a new one. And Emma, you said that this is something that's still kind of new to you too, right?
Yeah, I'm still big in the learning phase. So I'm trying to figure it. I understand why people like them in a very basic level, and I understand why people don't like them on a very basic level. And that's the limit of my sort of knowledge. So anyone who can educate me more, I am very happy to hear from.
Yeah, so I've done a little bit more of the homework on it, right? And what's bothering me? Well, we're trying to get Aaron back, but while we're trying to do that, what bothers me about it is we were just talking about how if it's a good message, it's a good message, and you don't need to rely on really bad methods of pitching that, right? And
Yes.
so far, the only thing that I've personally ever seen and was shown, and from the people who are trying to sell me on it, is really, really bad ways of presenting information, either trying to obfuscate something by making it seem better than it is, or not being completely upfront about how something works. And then we talk about how preachers will do this, where someone sells the congregation on the idea, and the congregation who sold on the idea tries to pitch it in the same way, but maybe without the full understanding of it, right? So this is where Emma and I are both on NFTs. We are underinformed, want to know more, but this is the energy that we're getting from it. So Aaron, are you with us?
I think so.
Okay, so what do you got for us?
So your guys' poll said that either NFTs are the future or NFTs are a pyramid scheme, and it seemed like almost everyone said it's a pyramid scheme, or NFTs are a pyramid scheme. I was wondering if you could explain how NFTs are a pyramid scheme.
Okay, and again, if I'm underinformed about this, please let me know, okay? But NFTs and crypto seem like the kind of thing where it benefits the people who got in early at the detriment of people who are coming in late. Okay. And the reason that crypto has value is because people think it has value. And the reason NFTs have value, especially speculative value, is because people think that it will eventually have value. So the only way to do that would be to convince other people that this will eventually have value, to sell them on a speculative amount to say this will eventually be able to have this value. And this has a lot of similar energy to an MLM, where if you get in early and you get a lot of people to buy into your system, you can benefit at the expense of other people who bought in late. So what am I missing?
Okay. What if you're not buying the NFT?
Okay, then you're not participating in the system. It's just like an MLM. Right, where you're not, if you're not buying into it, if you didn't want to participate and you didn't buy the recruiting kit and you don't buy the products, then you're just not participating in it. That seems fine to me. So
okay,
what do you mean by not buying?
One thing they're working on. So one thing that's kind of in the works right now that it's not talked about, and it's not, people don't see it because the market is so heavily financialized, which I think I agree with you guys there. And that's why you see a lot of scams, because you see a lot of people coming in and there's opportunity. It's new innovation. There's going to be stuff like that. But the new thing that I'm talking about is your digital identity that's tied to you. And so this is kind of going to be how you exist in the future, in the digital, the metaverse, if you will. And these, so for example, you could attach like your vaccination record to your digital identity in the form of an NFT. So it's not something you buy. There's no one to sell it to. It's just something that would be attached to your identity. It could serve as a digital thing instead of a physical piece of paper that could be copied, manipulated. So that's just one thing that NFT that
let's start with that. Let's talk about security and blockchain. Okay. If somehow I discovered that there was an error in a blockchain transaction, what can be done about it?
What do you mean by an error?
Like, okay, like let's say that the medical records were on there and someone puts on there just purely by accident, right? It's not even fraudulent. They accidentally put in the wrong CPT code. And now instead of having some sort of procedure like to check a blood draw, suddenly I've gotten a much more expensive procedure that I'm now on the hook for. Okay. Now I don't know what CPT codes are, so people can put these in again. We'll even call it an accident. We're not even going to call it fraudulent, right? Somebody puts in the wrong code, and now I'm on the hook for several tens of thousands of dollars for a procedure that I never had, and I can prove that I've never had it. But what happens when it's on blockchain? What can you do if you find a mistake further back on blockchain? Nothing, right?
Yeah, I guess I am not sure. You would have to go through the third party who is the one that
right.
Would
and
be
in a lot of cases,
the blockchain.
Yeah, and in a lot of cases, blockchain doesn't have this meaningful legislation like most other fraud would. Like if something happened wrong with my medical insurance billing, you know what? I have legislation backing me up to be able to go in there and fight the charge. This does not exist with blockchain. Okay, so when we talk about things like it might be a good thing in the future. Hold on. If we're talking about it might be a good thing in the future, I am not at all knocking blockchain technology. I am not at all knocking people who like to be on the cutting edge of technology. Absolutely do it. What I'm knocking is people who try to sell it to other people as an investment, because there's no meaningful investment there. An investment to me means I can put my money into something at any time. I can take that money back and it's going to continue to generate income from me without me necessarily having to get my grubby little paws on it. If I take $1,000 and I just put it in a savings account, forget about mutual funds, forget about ETFs. If I just put in a savings account, by the end of the year, it's going to grow a little bit. And the longer you keep it, it's going to grow. But I can also pull it out anytime I want to. And the only cost is I'm not going to continue to get my interest on it, right? Now, how does this, like, we already have a good system for this. So how is an NFT an investment? The way I see it, it is speculative at best, okay? It is saying this is really good technology for the future. But the problem is there are actual legitimate issues with blockchain. There are legitimate issues with what people are selling as NFTs right now. And we're not even talking about the environmental impact. We're just talking about the financial stuff, right? So sell me on the idea that I should actively invest in this. Number one, because it's going to pay me back, which is my primary interest when I make an investment, right? And number two, do it in a way that doesn't make someone downline from me suffer.
Okay. I mean, that's not really why I called the show, to pitch you on, sell you on an NFT and make you want to buy things and invest in things. I was trying to explain how there's NFTs that exist that can't be a pyramid scheme because they don't have a monetary value attached to them. And so that's kind of the point I was trying to make.
Okay. Are there any... Okay,
sorry.
Go ahead, Emma. Go, please.
I was just going to say, do you think, Aaron, there's a way to separate the kind of the prospective technology that could be beneficial from because it's like you said earlier, it's kind of dominated by this almost rug pull financial scam side. Is there a way we can take the good and make that a thing without having this mountain of, essentially financial scams along with it?
I mean, absolutely. And that's exactly what's happening in real time. That's happening. And so we're seeing the kind of, the muddy parts that are going on when scammers are able to get in, but it's going to get more secure and better. And then, that's just kind of how innovation works.
No, and I appreciate that, and I'm glad that innovation is going on in the way that it does. But right now, is it even possible to get into NFTs without also investing in crypto?
So one, I mean, what do you mean investing in crypto?
Can I buy an NFT without also buying crypto?
Without also buying crypto. So you can buy an NFT with a credit card.
With a credit card, like I can just give dollars for it?
Or like, correct, yes.
Okay. So if this stuff is starting to exist in a way that does
in a crypto wallet.
Okay. So do I so when I buy this currency, am I directly trading in my case US dollars for a direct NFT? And then let's talk about what an NFT actually does. Like what my biggest problem with NFTs, and I'll just be upfront with it, is that I can't think of anything that it does that we don't already have an existing analog for. And in a lot of cases, the existing analog is better. So two questions for you. First of all, can I just straight up exchange dollars for it and then also exchange it back for dollars, or euros or Canadian dollars or whatever, hard currency, fiat currency? And second, what do they do?
Yes.
Why am I buying it?
Why you're buying it is totally up to you.
Okay. Why would I buy it as with someone pitching it to me as the concept of an investment? Because I get it. People can buy things recreationally. Okay. Em and I are big into video games, right? But video games aren't being sold to us as an investment. Okay. We like when I buy a game, even if I stream it on Twitch, I'm not thinking to myself, you know what? I will get my $20 back from this by playing it online, and the subs and the bits are going to generate income for me so that eventually this is going to be paid for. Okay. Now, there are some people who do that, and for that, it's fantastic, but they are not buying a video game as an investment. So I get buying things recreationally. And if all you're doing with an NFT is buying something recreationally, who am I to tell you how to spend your money? What I'm trying to find out is why people are calling this an investment, trying to sell it as an investment, and trying to like, where does the return come from in a way that doesn't make someone downline from me suffer?
So one NFT that I own, it's on a platform called Royal, and Nas, if you know that artist, he dropped a song which you could buy a share of the royalties of in the form of an NFT. So you buy the NFT. This is another NFT that can be bought with a credit card. That's how I bought mine. And then you just get a stream of royalties deposited into your crypto wallet that holds the NFT. And if you
repeat for me really quick, I'm very sorry. What song by Nas was it? What song was it?
Ultra Black.
Okay. And you so the NFT that you bought does what exactly with Ultra Black?
So it just gives me streaming off of royalties off of the streams of the song. So as the song earns money, it just gets deposited into the same crypto wallet that holds the NFT. So I can just hold on to it and just keep that stream coming. Or if I wanted to, I could sell it and somebody could buy it, but then they would now own it. And so the stream of revenue would now be going to their wallet.
Okay.
So
now, what
would be
more to my interest, what legislation is backing this up? What makes it so that every time somebody listens to Ultra Black, it's feeding you? And what are you doing, and what can be done to prevent someone from simply not going to your streaming service to listen to this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the specifics. I'm not a legal expert.
And this is, again, one of my big problems with it is that people who are buying it, and to a large extent, people who are trying to sell it, don't really know how it's working. They get told how it works, but they don't know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? And I don't know to what level that you've researched all this, and please don't think that I'm picking on you specifically. All right, but if you're going to sell me on technology, I'm not going to be a slouch about it. Okay, I'm like Emma here. I'm going to do some digging, and I want to find out a little bit more, especially if somebody is pitching it to me as something that's going to generate me income. And the reason I'm buying it is because it's going to generate me income. And my benchmark is my savings account at Fifth Third Bank here in Cincinnati. If you can't guarantee that you're going to do better than that savings account, why am I buying it?
Okay. I don't know. So I explained an example that's not monetized, and then I explained an example where you get money. It's not a like I will get money in the future. It's currently happening. It just
okay. Yeah. Okay. You said you're getting money.
and then I can just
What is
immediately
what is
take it out.
guaranteeing that? What is guaranteeing that you're going to continue to have this in a way that, again, current systems already exist for this, right? Like here in America, we have a copyright office where you can just copyright your song and get royalty on it. But with that, you also get legislation. You can say, "Oi, you're not allowed to profit off of my song unless I give you permission to do it." Okay, so now what is stopping people? Like right now, it looks like I can just go to YouTube and look up this song and listen to it. So what is making this NFT worth it unless you are convincing people, again, making downline suffer, convincing people to only listen to this song in a way that you profit?
It's not so much like I'm not going around like saying, "Hey, everyone, you need to listen to this song." I view it as an opportunity where this is going to be a successful song, and I would be interested in taking part in the success of that song.
Okay, what's guaranteeing it? What legislation exists to make sure that you are going to get the money for this? What makes blockchain right now? Like right now, I actually asked someone this, and I couldn't find any personally myself, where it's basically just a contract between you and the other people on your ledger, right? But there's no legislation that backs up this ownership that you have. Right? It's a contract between you and the people who agree with you, but what actually holds that stake for you? And why is an NFT the only way to do this?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a big ass legal document on that Royal site that explains everything, and that could be just me, skipping over the terms, user terms agreement. But I don't know. It works, and I judged it as there is an element of risk because there's not legislation that you're talking about. So I judged my investment accordingly. But
Yeah,
I was
okay.
just giving an example of something that in real time is creating a revenue stream, which was something that you kind of were saying didn't exist. It does.
Okay.
Is
So
this
pointing out an example where
is
it does.
this something that wouldn't be possible with NFTs? Because it seems to me like in this case, and I can totally see why you'd be into it. You got upfront, you're supporting the artist. They get the upfront support of people buying this NFT, and then you get royalties. I totally understand why you'd be into it. What's to stop if an artist has the rights to a song and they could give out royalties, a share of royalties for a price like this? Why does it have to be an NFT? What's to stop them just doing this sans the NFT crypto wallet completely? Like, I don't really know what it is about NFTs that makes this possible that an artist couldn't do otherwise.
So, I mean, do you have another platform where Nas could say, "Hey guys, I'm going to drop a song and you can all give me money and then I'll give you royalties"? Does that a platform like that exist?
In this specific way, I
Besides
don't
NFTs?
know. Like I've never heard of it, but at the same time, I also don't know what's guaranteeing it. Like,
Yeah, I
did
think
Nas himself actually say that if you buy a stake in this song, I am going to legally make a binding contract with you saying that you are going to continue to generate revenue from this as long as it is listened to on this platform? Like, do we
Yeah.
have anything like that?
I think the
Because
other ways are more complicated
so
because there's a
Right.
legal
It's not
process.
coded into the contract.
illegal, like, can you
So
actually sue for this?
whatever legal rights as far as I'm sorry.
Can you actually sue for this? Can you actually say, "Hey, look, there's a discrepancy in my royalty payment. I'm going to take you to court to make sure that I can get my payment for it"? Like, is there enough legislation that you could do that? If there is, great. If there's not, it's
yeah, I mean, okay, so like I said, there's a big, huge legal document. So I'm assuming if somebody were to be invested heavily enough that they would know how to do these things and know if it's necessary. Me, I don't have a big enough position where I care. I'm not going to go sue if all of a sudden my revenue payments stop, because it's not that big of a deal to me. And I assume that there's some sort of risk involved in this investment. The whole point of bringing it up is because you said there wasn't a thing that could produce you revenue according to NFTs. And I pointed out that there is a thing that produces revenue
Right.
in the form of NFTs.
So I stand corrected on that one. The next question then would be, is it something that is strictly better than systems that already exist, or systems that could be done without having to buy NFTs and or crypto that would honestly stand to benefit the people who invested in the NFTs and the crypto before you, and for you to get an advantage of, you must convince other people to also participate in the system? Like what is, like right now, okay, for example,
Right, and I just
season
asked for
ticket
an
holders.
example of how very well known could get grassroots support and then give out royalties, and you guys were not able to give me a scenario in
But
which
the thing is,
possible. So
I don't think, Aaron, I don't think there's a simple answer to that, because usually there would be a much bigger legal process involved in having, I mean, music copyright is so complicated. I think having shares in, you know, a song's royalties would be it would take a bit more time and organization, but the kind of payoff is that the people that do that, then you would have
an organization put into it.
Well, where is it? I mean, show us something from Nas saying, yes, I agree that whoever listens to my song from this platform, and then how are you going to encourage people to do that? So this system, hold on, Aaron, hold on. So I'm seeing a lot of holes here, okay? And I'm not saying that this technology isn't interesting and this technology isn't good, and that you're making a little bit off of it now, and that there's money to be made. Sure, okay. Now the next question then becomes, you corrected me on that, I stand corrected. The next question then becomes, why are we still reliant then on specifically blockchain and crypto technology, and through these specific systems like Royal? Why do I need to buy into these specific systems instead of just, shall we say, YouTubing ultra black?
I mean, that's just how like music streaming works. You can always just go and YouTube it if you want. I mean, there's still other revenue that comes from that. I'm not sure I get your point on that.
I'm trying to understand where, like, why this is the best way to get revenue from it instead of other things. I appreciate this, and I hope you continue to.
I get royalties of a Nas song other than NFTs.
Right now, the current technology.
Any other well-known artist.
Okay, hold on. Let me answer this. I already said I don't know that a current system like this exists, but if it did exist and there was a way to do this, is there a way to do this without NFTs? Why is the NFT part the important part of buying into a system where? And I agree, it's interesting to buy a share of someone else's royalties to art that they made. That's a fascinating concept. I want to dig into that. What I'm wondering is why it's so ingrained with specifically non-fungible tokens, because it seems like this is something that could be done with other means.
Okay, so you said it can't be done currently.
I'm okay. I'm not saying that. I'm getting a little bubbling from you.
That's a perfect example.
Okay, so it's a perfect example of something that's being done now through NFTs, but you have to buy into it. But it seems like this technology can exist and be just fine.
You don't have to buy into anything. I told you pay with a credit card in US dollars, and you get the NFT, and then you can cash out in US dollars.
All right. I gotta. And I do apologize for this. I put you on mute because we're having some audio issues on someone's end here. I appreciate you calling, and I appreciate you making that correction to me. And this is something that I'm going to look into. You mentioned a specific group that was doing this. I got to let you go and move on to some other callers. I do very much appreciate the call and appreciate you correcting me on what's to correct on. I do have to say, though, right now that I'm not sold on the idea that NFT is at the point where it is a viable system, especially without the legislation to back it up. So Aaron, I appreciate it. I hope you engage with us, continue to. I'm going to give you a couple of links later. I'm going to give you a couple of links later near the end of the show of ways you can continue to engage with us in our community. We got to move on from now.
Thanks, Aaron.